Yashodanandana Vraja Janaram Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaram Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada Shri Shri Radha Madhava ki Srila Prabhupada ki Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tiyani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Nirvishesha Srinivadi Pashitare Sutare. We're reading from the Transcendental Diary by His Travels with His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada by Harisari Das. So it's in Sri Vrindavan Dham, September 13, 1976. We'll continue. Okay. Citing many verses from Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada made the point that Krishna's personality cannot be understood without his mercy. So one has to accept the statement of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, how he is originally the Purush or person. He said, impersonal Brahman is expansion of the rays of his personal body, exactly like the sunshine is expansion of the rays of the sun god Vivasvan. Vivasvan is a person in the sun globe, and Krishna is also a person who spoke the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita long, long years before he spoke the same to Arjuna. Imam vivasvate yogam praktavanaham avyayam. Therefore, the conclusion is that originally God is always a person. Impersonal Brahman is emanation from the personal God. In other words, God, personal God, is not from impersonal Brahman, but impersonal Brahman is from the personal God. That is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Impersonal Brahman is resting on the personal God. Exactly, that illumination of light is resting on the electric bulb. Not that the bulb is resting on the illuminated light. This is nice example that we have two aspects of the Supreme Absolute. Three aspects actually. And there is the impersonal form and there is the personal aspect. For example, we have this bulb. You see the bulb? From the bulb, light comes. So light is the energy of the bulb, right? It is not the other way around. It's not like there is light first and then bulb comes out from the light. It's bulb first and then light comes out. So similarly, there is a form first, Krishna's form, and from Krishna's form comes all the energy, the light, everything that is we see the universe working. This is Krishna's energy coming from his personal form. Again, quoting from the Gita, Prabhupada came to a very pointed conclusion. So Krishna as a person says to Arjuna that both of them existed in the past as person and they will continue to remain person in the future. So, without knowing all this knowledge, a Mudha accepts the incarnation of God as coming from impersonal. Avajananti ma Mudha manusim tanumashritam. Under this heading, you have proved yourself to become a Mudha, and how a Mudha or an ass can become the incarnation of God. Not content with that, Prabhupada asked Pradyumna to read the rest of the article to him. Pradyumna squinted through his glasses at the paper and read out the writer of his acceptance avatar concept, which broadly means the of the divine principle into human affairs, reminding the reader of Lord Krishna's descent to save humanity, the writer declared. Solution and cure to world's ills. To Baba's devotees, the avatar has similarly come to provide both the solution and the cure to a world living in terror of a nuclear holocaust. The false dichotomies created by Western thought between God and man, Purusha and Deva, simply do not exist in the Indian scriptures, which prescribe the assimilation of God in man and man in God as the basis of religion. Prabhupada was disgusted. This is another rascaldom. God is always distinct from man. Prabhupada said that Sai Baba made a similar quote himself later in the piece. Pradyumna said that Sai Baba made a similar quote himself later in the piece. He read it out. God is man and man is God. All of us have something of God, the divine spark within us. All men are divine, like myself, with a spirit embodied in human flesh and bone. The only difference is that they are unaware of this Godhood. Skipping to another section of the article, Pradyumna went on. Here he says, the mission of the present avatar is to make everybody realize that since the same God or divinity resides in everyone, people should respect, love, and Prabhupada caught him. No, no. If he resides in everyone, then why he has special claim? Yes, well, he says that he has remembered. He remembers, Prabhupada asks. How God can forget? That he says here. He says that take paddy or rice by way of an illustration. Every grain of rice is enclosed in a husk. You have to remove the husk to get the grain of rice. Now, husk and rice both come from the same seed. Rice is equivalent of God in man. But still, husk is not rice, Prabhupada said. You cannot say husk is rice. Nodding in agreement, Pradyumna read on. He says, rice is the equivalent of God in man, while the husk can be compared to desire, which reduces God to man. Prabhupada sat shaking his head. No, no. Pradyumna finished the quote. Therefore, life plus desire equals man, life minus desire equals God. So, interesting conversation here where there is some whom Prabhupada would call rascals claiming to be God, but when asked why they don't have power as God, then what they say is they have forgotten that they are God. They just need to be reminded. Right? So this is cheating. When someone says, I'm God, then then it doesn't make sense. They're cheating the public. And then Srila Prabhupada would say, when there are cheaters, when there are people who want to be cheated, there will also be cheaters. For example, if someone wants to find cheap gold, then there will be shop that will sell cheap gold, fake gold, right? Sometimes we have this gold jewelry, but it's not real gold, fake gold. And there will be shop that will sell pay gold to you. So where there is demand, there will be supply. So if people want something very cheap, then there will be people who are willing to exploit that mentality of the people. But if you want something real, then we pay for that. And the price is you have to be qualified to see God. You have to make the effort. And one of the qualification is first you have to be purified. Right? So that there is a process. Even if you want to see the prime minister or the president of the country, you have to go through so many channels. Right? Tomorrow, if I say I want to see the president of America, you cannot see, you cannot meet him. You have to go through the proper channels. You have to take the appointment, right? Everything. You have to go through the security procedures, and then you can see. But what to speak of God? You have to be qualified first. So we are in the process of making ourselves qualified with the process of devotional service. And that is glorious. We are in a glorious process that we are making ourselves qualified every day to meet God face to face. Anything anyone would like to add? So this is until today.
How can we become ourselves state of mind? How can we be in how can we fill our mind with thoughts that we don't become in the consciousness that we our own are the masters or our own God instead?
Yeah, I think we should always remind ourselves that our position is insignificant. We are always servant. That is our constitutional position. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Trinadapi Sunichena Tarodapi Sahishnana Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. So he said, a devotee should wear this verse like a garland around the neck. So always being humble, always tolerant, but always giving respect to everyone, but not expecting any respect for oneself. So we keep reminding ourselves this, and then in that state you can always chant constantly the holy names, and in this state we can, if we always remind ourselves, then naturally we want to serve. So the attitude of service is important. Whatever we do.
Yeah, but what is the service? You know? What how can we find out how we can really fill the hearts with happiness? How can we really make something what makes somebody really happy and not temporary?
So you want to serve someone and make them happy, you mean? But ourselves or someone else? Yourself happy or someone else happy?
Yeah, I mean, we make seva, okay, but we don't make it maybe with our whole heart, or we are not absorbed or something. But how can we be in a consciousness that we really have the wish in ourselves to serve somebody and to make somebody happy and to bring a smile?
Yeah. In my experience, when we serve, we have to be attentive. Because when we are serving, and it is said attention to detail is a sign of love. So if we are attentive in our service, then that is sign of love.
Because I'm sorry, Prabhu, because I mean, I was a long time not in the temple now. That's why it's sounds sometimes a little bit like, you know, like.
No, it sounds very good.
That's, you know, what I mean, yes, we have to for me it sometimes sounds a little bit like static.
Yeah.
This, the whole how I mean, this is also the mission of Prabhupada, that we make this movement attractive for other people and not just for us. No? Do you understand me?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. So basically, I think that's my experience is all I can share. So in my experience, when we do this daily, we need to go through the Shastras. We need to go through all these, like for example, we chant every day the Samsara Dava, right? Do we know the meaning of those? So it's not about going wide, it's about going deep. It's not about, so we do the same thing every day, but we go deeper and deeper. And when we ourselves are deep into the practice, automatically people see us and they get attracted. People do not listen to your words, but they listen to your actions. If our words are just like parrots, but our actions are not representing our words, people don't get attracted. But when we are in a deep state of consciousness, and when we, from the morning, when we are chanting these prayers, if we are just like I said, attentive, meditating on the prayers, because they teach us how to serve. They give us the consciousness how to pray. Like we chant Samsara Davana Lalita Loka. All these have such nice and deep meaning. They tell us that's why these prayers are there, to help us go deeper, and to teach us how we should pray. And it's always, if we just know the meaning and we go deep every day, pray to the Lord, we follow the footsteps of the acharyas how to pray, and that will help us. That's the mood we want to imbibe. And yeah, these for example, these prayers, like we have so many Vaishnava songs, right? If you read one of those, for example, Bhaja Hure Mana Shri Nanda Nandana, you know this song, right? This such a nice deep meaning it has. Oh my, just worship the lotus feet of the son of Nanda, which makes one fearless. Having obtained this rare human birth, cross over this ocean of worldly existence through the association of saintly persons. Both in the day and at night, I remain sleepless, suffering the pain of the heat and cold, the wind and the rain. For a fraction of flickering happiness, I uselessly serve wicked and miserly men. So we just meditate on the prayers, and that consciousness, slowly we will also get it. It's practice. It's not like every day we have to do that thing, but we go deep, become attentive, and we go deeper and deeper, and slowly we'll get the realization. We start becoming content, we start becoming happy, and we see that the process is working. We see the change in us, and then it becomes dynamic. And then you want to grow deeper, and at the same time you also want to give it to others, because you see you are benefiting from this, and then it becomes more and more increasing. Does that help? Thank you. Hare Krishna. So we read from Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraet Nastaprayasva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nice. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 1, Text 38. Please repeat. Ashapan Kupita Evam Yuvam Vasam Charhata Rajas Tamobhyam Rahite Padamule Madhudvisaha Papistam Yonim Palisauyatam Ashvataha Ashapan Kupita Evam Yugam Vasamna Charhata Rajastam Tamobhyam Rahite Padamule Madhudvijaha Papistam Asurim Yonim Bali Savyatam Ashvataha Ashapan Kupita Evam Yuvam Vasamna Charhataha Rajas Tamobhyam Rahite Padamule Madhudvisaha Papistamasurim Yonim Bali Savyatam Ashvataha Sapankupitam Evam Surim Yonim. Word for word. Ashapan, cursed. Kupita, being full of anger. Evam, thus. Yuvam, you too. Vasam, residence. Na, not. Cha, and. Arhata, deserve. Raja Tamobhyam, from passion and ignorance. Rahite, free. Padamule, at the lotus feet. Madhudvi Saha, of Vishnu, the slayer of the Madhu demon. Papistan, most sinful. Asurim, demoniac. Yonim, to a womb. Bali so, O you two fools, Yatam, go, Ashu, quickly hereafter, Atha, therefore. Translation by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Thus checked by the doorkeepers Jaya and Vijaya, Sanandana and the other great sages very angrily cursed them. You two foolish doorkeepers, they said, being agitated by the material qualities of passion and ignorance, you are unfit to live at the shelter of Madhur's lotus feet, which are free from such modes. It would be better for you to go immediately to the material world and take your birth in a family of most sinful asuras. There's no purport. I'll go on to the next verse. Just read it. Few verses without purport. So, text 39. Evam saptau swabhavana patantau tau kripalubhi proktau punarjanmabhivam kriri lokaya kalpatam. Translation. While Jaya and Vijaya, thus cursed by the sages, were falling to the material world, they were addressed as follows by the same sages who were very kind to them. O doorkeepers, after three births, you will be able to return to your positions in Vaikuntha, for then the duration of the curse will have ended. Text 40. Jagnate taudite putrau daitya dhanava banditau hiranyakashipu yasto hiranyaksho nujastataha. Translation. These two associates of the Lord, Jaya and Vijaya, later descended to the material world, taking birth as the two sons of Diti, Hiranyakashipu being the elder and Hiranyaksha the younger. They were very much respected by the Daityas and Danavas, demoniac species. 641. Hato Hiranyakashipur Harina Simha Rupina Hiranyaksho Dharodhare Viprata Saukaram Vapu. Appearing as Nrsimhadev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Hari killed Hiranyakashipu when the Lord delivered the planet Earth, which had fallen in the Garbhodaka ocean. Hiranyaksha tried to hinder him, and then the Lord as Varaha killed Hiranyaksha. Text 42. Hiranyakashipu putram praladam keshavapriyam jiham shur akaronana yatana mrityuhetave. Desiring to kill his son Prahlad, who was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, Hiranyakashipu tortured him in many ways. Text 43. Tam sarva bhutatma bhutam prashantam samadarshanam bhagavate jasasvris tam nasaknod dantum udyamai. Translation. The Lord, the super soul of all living entities, is sober, peaceful, and equal to everyone. Since the great devotee Prahlad was protected by the Lord's potency, Hiranyakashipu was unable to kill him, in spite of endeavoring to do so in various ways. Purport. In this verse, the word Sarva Bhutatma Bhutam is very significant. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hriddhya Arjuna Tishtati. The Lord is equally situated in the core of everyone's heart. Thus, he cannot be envious of anyone or friendly to anyone. For him, everyone is the same. Although he is sometimes seen to punish someone, this is exactly like a father's punishing his child for the child's welfare. The Supreme Lord's punishment is also a manifestation of the Lord's equality. Therefore, the Lord is described as Prashantam Samadarshanam. Although the Lord has to execute his will properly, is equipoised in all circumstances, is equally disposed toward everyone. Om Ajnanatirandasya Dhananjana Salakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Saditam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadama Gadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tapalakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavascha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sadhana Rangatam Advaitam Sarvabhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sakamalita Sri Sakalita Hare Krishna Karana Sindhu Dinabandhu Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Bhakta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwanusute Brahmani Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vaishnava Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama. So here we now start the wonderful pastimes of wonderful pastimes of the summary, or at least of Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, who are two doorkeepers, Jai and Vijay, and because of some pastimes that the Lord wanted also, so they were cursed by the four Kumaras to be born as demons in the material world for three lifetimes, right? And and in this sloka, let me read the sloka once again. The Lord, the super soul of all living entities, is sober, peaceful, and equal to everyone. Since the great devotee Prahlad was protected by the Lord's potency, Hiranyakashipu was unable to kill him in spite of endeavoring to do so in various ways. So Hiranyakashipu was this demon and a very great materialist. Sometimes we see how even a great materialist like Hiranyakashipu, he was the emperor of the whole three worlds. He had conquered. It is said that when he would move his eyebrows, the demigods would be fearful. He was so so powerful, and he was the biggest materialist. And he also knew. He also had some later on in the Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll see that when his brother died, he was actually consoling his mother. When his brother Hiranyaksha died, he was telling his mother, "Oh, my mother, don't worry. This is just body. The soul is eternal." So Hiranyakashipu also knew the science of the soul, but at the same time, he was the biggest, let's say, demon, because he was not accepting the authority of Vishnu. Right? So those who do not accept the authority of Vishnu in the Srimad Bhagavatam, they are categorized as Ashura. Sura and Asura. There are two. Prabhupada always says there has always been a friction between Asura and Sura throughout history. Right? So, and this is also a history. So Srimad Bhagavatam is a history. And in this case, Hiranyakashipu, he was a very big demon, but he had a great devotee son Prahlad, and he wanted to kill him. we can imagine how great the enemy should be, that you want to kill your own child. How what the mentality of the person should be, that the your own child is your enemy. And then he tried to kill him in so many various ways, right? Like throwing him to the elephants, and then throwing him to, um, I think, dropping him from the mountains, right? And then feeding him something poisonous, and what else? Throwing him to the snakes, but nothing could kill him. Krishna was protecting him. The Lord's potency was being protected. Like in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, and that the Lord is equally situated in the core of everyone's heart. Thus, he cannot be envious to anyone or friendly to anyone. For him, everyone is the same. So, Krishna is situated in the heart as Paramatma. What is the name of this Vishnu who is in the heart? Which Vishnu? We have three Vishnus: Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Karanodakshay Vishnu, and Shirodakshay Vishnu. Right? So the Paramatma in the heart is known as Shirodakshay Vishnu. Right? So he is situated and he is equal to every living entity. Meaning he is not saying, I love these people and I hate these people. This is not possible for the Lord. He is equally eager to take every living entity back to God. He's eager to, he's waiting for the living entity to turn their face, and then he wants to help. So he is equally ready to each and every living entity. So if any living entity just desires that now I'm done with this material world, now I don't want to satisfy my senses, I want to satisfy Krishna's senses, then the Paramatma in the heart helps. What does he do first? He sends a bona fide representative. He sends a spiritual master, a guide to help you. So that is why we should have, when we have the desire to advance in spiritual life, Paramatma helps. Somehow he makes the arrangement that you you can advance. And some to make advancement, we always need guidance. We cannot do it on our own. It's practically impossible, because the material world is so huge and we are so small that it's practically impossible to to get just cross it without any help. So we all need help. We have to accept this fact that we all need help, and we should all be willing to ask for help when we need it. We should be brave enough, we should be courageous enough to ask for guidance when we need it. And then the Paramatma will send guidance externally from representing the spiritual master who is representative of the Paramatma, and from internally also he will give inspiration, he will give guidance, and the Shastras are always there. Right? So in this way he is impartial, he is always willing to help the living entity advance in consciousness and reach him. Although he is sometimes seen to punish someone, this is exactly like a father's punishing his child for the child's welfare. So we can see sometimes the Lord is killing someone, he is punishing someone. For example, in the Krishna Leela, we see he kills so many demons and he chastises Kaliya. He's dancing on Kaliya's food. And then because of his dancing, Kalia is so like tired, and he starts vomiting all the venom, all the poison that he had. He starts vomiting, and then the wives of Kalia, they come and pray, please have mercy on our husband. And then Krishna says, um, because and Krishna, of course, he because he danced on the head of Kalia. Now Kalia is protected forever. You know? So Krishna's chastisement is as good as Krishna's loving. Krishna's killing, Krishna kills someone, is also beneficial. Right? So, and in this world we can see people are suffering. And someone might say, if God is so loving, why is there suffering? This is um, the question that makes many people atheist. Right? There is so much suffering, there is so much war, there is so much poverty, and there is so much, so much suffering. So why can such a loving God, how can He let all this suffering happen? Right? This also sounds like, why is He punishing? Why is He punishing us? Like, and sometimes even in our life we can have this difficulty situation, and we may think, why is this happening to me? Why am I being punished? What did I do? What did I do to deserve this? Right? But to understand the length, to understand our life, we cannot just take one lifetime. If we want to understand the mercy of the Lord, we have to take the length and breadth of our life, and we need to understand that this lifetime is not the only life we have had. We have had so many lifetimes, and what we get right now is for us to learn lessons. It is said karma is like a university. In the university we go, and then we learn so many different things. Karma is a universal university, the university where you could go through things, and then you learn. In classic, in normal universities, what happens? You learn, and then there is test at the end, right? You go through your studies throughout the year, and at the end of the year, there is an examination, right? But in the University of Karma, it's the opposite. First, there is a test, and from the test, you learn, right? So, all the things we have been given whenever we are in difficult situation, we really have to go deep into whatever we have read so much, because everything we read, it's to help us go through these tests and to help us grow, right? So when we go through difficult situations, like Arjun, he listened to Bhagavad Gita, and from that he could understand what to do. So we also reflect when we go through difficult situation. We reflect on what we heard so many times, that what we get is actually for our benefit. We just reflect on this, and then we go through it, and that's how we grow, right? And by doing that, we understand that whatever we get is Krishna's design for us to take us back to God. I was once with one astrologer, and he was just uh, looking at my chart, and he was saying, "You have some difficulties in your life at this point, at this point. But you'd always remember, Prabhu, that whenever there is any difficult situation, it's just Krishna is just trying to bring you home. You just remember this fact, and this will help you to go through that difficulty. So difficulties are there in everyone's life. This is part of being in the material world, that it's never the same. There is always up and down. There is always sometimes misery, sometimes so-called happiness. But whatever happens, if we remember Krishna and if we take what happens to us as something to grow from it, and we are grateful for whatever we have, then we can pass any obstacle. And this karma is also Krishna's way, Krishna's love for us. Because imagine if there was no karma, the world would not be fair. Karma is there because the universe is fair. If I cause some harm to someone else, that will come back to me. This is a fair universe, right? Fair meaning there is justice in the universe. And there is justice, and another aspect of karma is also to take us out of the material world. Otherwise, we will always want to stay here. Imagine if there was no suffering. Imagine if everything was very nice and cozy, and it was always nice spring, and the birds were always chirping, and you have nice food on your table, and everyone is so nice to you. We'll never want to get out of this material world. Yeah? But there are these times when our balloon of our our existence gets popped, and then we want, I don't want to. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would say, this world is not a very good place for a gentleman. No gentleman will want to live in this world, because the world is not, it's not compatible with our eternal nature. Our eternal nature is we want to always live. We don't want anxiety, we don't want suffering. But the world is like that. So it's there to help us grow and to help us know that this place is not our home. Our home is Vaikuntha, and the name of Vaikuntha literally means a place of no anxiety. Vaikuntha. Right? So that's our purpose, to go back home, back to God. As Srila Prabhupada would say. So this is a loving father. My point is, God is not cruel. God is not like, oh, I want to punish this guy today. I want to punish this guy today. So he is not cruel. What we are getting is what we deserve. And again, it is also for our own benefit. So we get this impetus that we want to leave the material world and go back to Krishna. Yeah. Although the Lord has to execute his will properly, he is equipoised in all circumstances. He is equally disposed toward everyone. So the Lord is guiding us because we came to this material world. The Lord is also there in the heart. In the spiritual world, there is no Paramatma. In the spiritual world, everyone is conscious of Krishna. Krishna is everywhere. Everyone is serving. But in the material world, the Lord comes as a friend to us, as a friend. So he's so merciful that he is always staying beside the living entity and always willing to guide the living entity. So this is a friend, a well-wisher. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktaram Yagyatasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suridam Sarvabhutana Yatvaman Santi. So one who understands this, that Krishna is the well-wisher and the friend and the proprietor, he will be peaceful. So this is the peace formula. And Krishna is merciful. That is what's the essence of this is the Lord is like a father, a loving father. And whatever he gives is for the benefit of the living entity, for us to learn. Anyone would like to add anything? We send a quick message to Prabhu. Nothing. Thank you very much. Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Prabhu, could you change the verse 44? Yeah. To 44. Just erase 35 and write 44.
This oh, 144. 144.